Hey everybody, it's great to see you this morning. Oh, and boy is it beautiful here in Northern Illinois. I'm thrilled that the weather's finally starting to change. My name is Rita Hickman, body-mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, and my specialty is helping women who are in toxic relationships or narcissistic relationships figure out how to get their life back on track, how to get their energy back, their clarity of their mind. Because, when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, it's not just mental, it's not just emotional, it's physical, because all of it's really well connected. And so when you're under emotional stress, you start to have digestive issues, diverticulitis, you start to get migraine headaches, you get vertigo. Your chronic illnesses pop back up and cause you problems. You end up with eczema and skin conditions. You end up with asthma and allergies. You end up with a million different things which physically go wrong with you as a side effect of the overload of the stress, the mental, emotional, and physical stress that you're under. So, it makes perfect sense that you don't feel good and you're too tired when you're under this burden of being in a relationship with someone who has little or no concern for how you feel. So a lot of times narcissism gets passed down family member to family member. The first narcissist that I can remember in my life was actually my dad's mom. And she was in so much pain most of her life that she was constantly focused on what she needed, what she wanted, and nobody else really mattered because she just didn't have the energy. She just didn't have even the mindset. See, narcissistic traits get passed down family member to family member, as well as codependency does too. They're patterns of behavior, they're patterns of being. So what tends to happen when we're in a relationship with a narcissist for a while is their thought processes, they're stagnant, nothing will ever change, everybody's out to get me. Those thought processes start to impact you. One of the concerns that happen to a lot of women that I end up working with is that they're worried they're becoming like the narcissist themselves. They start to see those same qualities, those same, nothing will ever change. There's nothing I can do about it. There's a growth mindset, and then there's a stagnant mindset, a limiting mindset that says nothing's going to change, so why bother? So the interesting thing about relationships and people and quantum physics is that literally not only what we think, so not just mantras, but also what we feel is what we start to create in our life around us. So it's tough when you don't feel good, when your stomach's upset, your neck hurts, your shoulders hurt. It's so difficult to feel positive thoughts. And that's when you need to start to do the things that actually make you feel good. Some of them might be CBD oil or juicing or getting a few more vegetables, or it could be going to a hydrotherapy, which is anything that's like a spa. It's where it uses hot and cold to make us feel better, to affect our body. So all that spa stuff, it really has a huge effect on detoxing and circulation and healing in the nervous system. When we do things that physically make us feel good, that's what starts to reverse things. So even though a narcissist may be saying to you, nothing will ever change, this is the way it's always going to be, you're a loser, you're a failure, you're never going to figure it out. There's, why is it all your fault? Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me again? If you didn't do this to me, why haven't you done this for me? All the whole litany of that self-absorbed narcissistic language and mindset, that they feel helpless, they feel out of control, like there's nothing that they can do. Now the problem is when we start to naturally, believe the things that we're hearing, what we're being told, whether it was our parent or a grandparent or our spouse or our boss, it starts to change our thinking too. And you'll notice that you do become more like the narcissist, because the narcissist is the way they are because they feel helpless and insecure. And so they make you feel helpless and insecure. And yes, it's very likely you'll end up becoming more like a narcissist as well, because you'll be in so much pain and you'll be in so much discomfort that you won't be able to focus on anything but what you feel, no matter how hard you try. And so one of the biggest steps you can do is to start doing whatever you need to do, whatever works for you. Whatever you've noticed that's healthy, whether it be movement or a walk, or whether it be hugging a tree or doing a ceremony or wearing a crystal. It doesn't matter whether anybody else believes you or not. All that matters is that how it makes you feel. Because if you do something that makes you feel good, you're more able to not only to think the thoughts that you want to think, that, you know what, this is going to turn out okay, I'm going to be okay. You know, I'm creating my reality around me. I'm creating it in this moment, and I'm creating beauty and love into this field, this quantum field of possibility. And that every morning is that new opportunity to create something different, and that I am being looked after by a higher consciousness, whether it's the consciousness of the world and the universe, or whether it's, you know, specific religion, it doesn't matter. So you believe and do the things that make you feel good so that you can start creating a reality that's where you really want to go, because you don't want to become like the narcissist. You want to break the chain. You want to break the pattern by choosing to do things that make you feel good, and choosing to think things and feel things that make you feel positive and hopeful. Maybe you need to let go of something that's tagged you or holding on to. One of the things I've had to let go of the last few days is my grandmother, you know, being there, hearing her in my head, reacting the way that she is, you know, or thinking the way, you know, thinking the things that she did. She's long since passed. But, you know, those ideas of I'm helpless, I'm hopeless, there's nothing I can do about it. You know what, when we allow ourselves to go too deep into that, beyond the normal healing, you know, when you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm so tired of, you know, feeling this way. When you've purged enough that you need to purge, the next step is to start focusing your mind and your heart on the things that make you feel good. One of my tricks is to take the time when I do feel good to use it to its best advantage, because it'll create more things in the future. You know, like many times when we feel good, we almost use it as a little vacation. We say, oh, thank God I feel good. I'm just going to enjoy this for a few moments. And we'll do something that maybe won't make us feel good in the long run. But if we use those times of feeling good to nourish ourselves, you know, in a positive way, something that long-term makes us feel good, then it keeps that ball rolling. You know, like that commercial, they had it for Special K for a while, which was, you know, if you start out with a donut, by the end of the day, you've eaten crap all day because you started out with a choice that doesn't make you feel as good, and then you feel run down, and so it's easier to make more bad choices. Whereas if you start the day with a good choice, with a beautiful choice, it's more likely as the day goes forward, you'll make more good choices. This is how it works. And when we're in that positive space, when we're in that loving, thoughtful space, that's how we create our future. That's how we create what comes next. That's what we create in our reality. So even though a narcissist has been pounding on your brain for decades, maybe lifetimes, telling you that there's nothing that can be done, that you can't change your life, that we're helpless to reality, that we've got no control, which is why they're super controlling, because they feel they've got no control. You know, when we start to believe these things, that will take us down the path of the narcissist. Family member to family member to family member, to friends, to acquaintances. But when we do the things, day at the spa, time to sit out in nature with our feet on the ground, when we do things that nurture us and nourish us, that's when we're able to make tomorrow, or even later today, or even the next moment, beautiful. Because when we put that out there, that's what we're creating. That's what we're manifesting. That's what we're pulling together. Okay? So here's your homework assignment for today. I want you to do one thing that makes you feel good. One thing that brings you joy. And when you do, when you're in that joyful place, I want you to think to yourself, you know what? Life's going to be okay. I'm doing this wonderfully. I can handle everything that comes my way. I'm creating a future that I love, that works for me. I've got the power in order to shape what my life looks like, even if nobody else thinks that I can. You know, even if nobody else believes in the same miracles that I do, you'll start reshaping your brain this way. And it can't just be in your heart, in your mind, although that's a great start. You're starting to think in that way, starting to strengthen those neural connections. And once you've been thinking that way for a while, it's time to bring your heart on board, because that's what does the real work. When you can have some emotion, excitement, or joy, or compassion, or love, when you can have that emotion while you're thinking those thoughts that you deserve joy, you deserve happiness, that's what starts to shape that field around you. That's what shapes the very next moment in your life, okay? And if you don't feel that way now because you're at toxic overload, because of emotional trauma and craziness in your life, do something that will make you feel good. You have to break that pain cycle for yourself. Now, if you're feeling stuck, or even if you haven't done this yet, join the Facebook group. It's Healthy Mindsets to Cope with Narcissists. We're getting a great crowd together of women who are positive, happy, moves us forward. We're putting down that anger. We have compassion for the anger, for our anger, for other people's anger, but we understand that that's not going to get you where you want to go. Staying in that pain and staying in that anger doesn't serve you and doesn't serve anybody. And the way that you're going to create that change, because you are deserving, you're absolutely deserving of joy and happiness from even before the first breath. You were deserving of this. And so believing that you're deserving of it and having that wonderful emotion that blessings and love are coming your way, that's how you change it. Doesn't matter what your religious belief is. We change it through that love and that intention, because that's what starts to kind of shape our relationships, because we change how we interact with people, we change the choices that we make, we start our day off in that good space, okay? So cool. Don't let yourself indulge too long in the anger and the frustration. Do something that makes you feel good, okay? And then plant more seeds, you know, in the field. Plant more seeds so that tomorrow you'll have another good day. Okay? So, and I will see you tomorrow. How exciting and wonderful. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.